And welcome to the Note Buyers Academy. I believe that this is going to be the best academy that we've ever had. My goal is that you close a deal within the next 90 days. Okay, on page 96 is the assignment of note, and this is the assignment from Sally to the original note buyer. Make sure to include the legal description. I like to include the property address. Many title companies will not include that because it's another layer or another item that they need to insure. And if there's a mistake on the address, that can create issues for them. So they mostly will use a permanent parcel number because that goes right with the taxes. And they don't like to use an address. So what we do is we call it commonly known as, so that it's a way of saying off the record it's known as this. I think it's important to have some kind of an address, especially if you've got an investor that's got 30 properties and which one is it, or if you're doing a subdivision or something like that. So that's how we deal with that. And you did notice that it said without recourse here. Okay. I always specify with or without recourse. And if it says with recourse, that means whoever's assigning it is guaranteeing that note. So they really should be all without recourse. Okay. And then if we go to 97, this is, oh, that's just the second page. Did I get ahead? Okay, and I state on the assignment that the assigner represents in covenants and warrants that there is now owing upon the note and deed of trust. I put the current balance in there. And I also state the next payment, that this is effective beginning with a payment of such and such a date. I think that's important to put that in. And I use this as my fallback. If I ever am not sure when did I buy payments of what date, I always go back and I look at the assignment, because that gets recorded at the courthouse and everything revolves around whatever date is on here. Okay, I want to talk a minute about witnesses in signing your documents, because this can make or break your deal. And most people just blow it off as not important, not realizing that it can totally invalidate your deal. You have to find out what the witness and notarization laws are in the state where you are signing this. And they vary a lot. Some of them require one signature of a witness, one witness. Some require two witnesses. Some require two, but one could be the notary. Some don't require any witnesses as long as it's notarized. Some require an unofficial witness and one notary. So it totally varies from state to state. And you need to find out what is required in that state, and you have to make sure you comply. Yes?
Some require the address.
They require what? The address of the property?
No, of the person who's signing.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Ruby says that some places require the address of the witness. I've never heard that. And, you know, I've often wondered why they don't. How are you going to find Joe Blow? Like, you know, who in the heck is he? So, I mean, that makes sense to me. So, you can find this out by calling the recorder's office. When I'm preparing documents, I always call the recorder. And I say, I'm doing an assignment of note and mortgage. What special requirements do you have? They'll tell me how many witnesses, how many notarizations. In Ohio, you have to leave a 3-inch header on the front page. If you don't, they will charge you $20 per document. And you have to have an inch all the way around. I think it might be 1.5 inches on the second page. At any rate, if you're 1/8 of an inch off, they will charge you $20 per document. I was so mad one time, so I knew that this was the case. So I go in and I make sure that all my margins are set 1/8 of an inch in, like I'm being extra cautious. Okay? So I print out all my documents, got them all ready, we sign, I go down to the courthouse, and this was a deal that it had multiple documents. And do you know, in Word, there is a place that says how far should the header be from the top of the page? And even though I had margins set at the 1 5/8 or whatever it was, the header was like 1 inch from the top. And every one of my documents was at 1 inch instead of the 1.5. I paid something like $160 extra because of those margins. That will never happen to me again. That's another one of those expensive seminars that I took, you know. I mean, $160 just because of a margin, you know. So, but I mean, that's the kind of stuff you don't forget. You know, from now on, I am going to make sure that it's correct. But my downfall there was when I printed them out, I didn't really look at them. From now on, when I've got margins to check, I will print them out and look at it. And what I did was I sent them out and had them signed, and the guy brought them back to me. So maybe if I had sat down and was actually having them signed, maybe I would have noticed it. But from now on, I'm always going to double check. You also need to make sure that the notary includes a seal, the printed name, the county, and the expiration date of the notary. Another thing that a lot of people miss is in the notary paragraph, it needs to specify the marital status or the entity of the person signing. So, personally appeared Donna J. Bauer, manager for the original note buyer LLC, the assigner in the above instrument, or whatever capacity I was signing in. Personally appeared Sam and Sally Seller, husband and wife. You know, that needs to be specified in the notary clause. That can invalidate the notary. Oh, it also needs to say of the original note buyer LLC, an Ohio limited liability company. Here's something I learned. My attorney told me, not Ben, but another attorney, said that, and I really want to double check this and see if this is true, but he told me that on a legal document, if it does not specify someplace in that document where the LLC is domiciled, so it needs to say, in my case, an Ohio LLC, that's an invalid document. That if it needs to say it at least one place. Okay? At least one place. Okay. What makes the Academy are the people who come. Okay, thank you.